think next time, hello everybody. I think next time I'm going to try to have some music in the background while I'm waiting. Um, but because I didn't prepare for that today, because I'm at the library and my brain wasn't working like that. So um, I know no one has joined me yet, but just in case I um, get bombarded by noise or something, I think I found the perfect spot here in the library. It has stopped raining, but I'm just here. But I wanted to go ahead and get this live done anyway because I have a coach who gave me this challenge that I should go live and talk about, uh, my topics instead of writing all the time because that's what I do. Okay, so today's topic, today's question is what what life lesson have you learned that no one could have convinced you of until you experienced it yourself. So um, I'm going to give me like 2 minutes. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping here. I have to send someone a message. Okay. It's a phone call. Okay. So, like I had said before on the Facebook channel, the older I get, the more I realize that some lessons in life can only be learned by actually walking through the storms of life and facing whatever challenges come your way, and also facing the challenges, you're you're surviving the disappointments of life. So these experiences shape us in ways that no book, no sermon, or anybody else's advice can give you. Some things you just have to experience yourself. So today I'm going to, I guess, share a little of my experiences and the wisdom that I've learned because I'm always praying, Lord, give me wisdom. And I think at this stage in my life, I have some wisdom. I'm still becoming, I'm still learning how to navigate through life, even at my age. But I figured some of the navigations that I have learned, I can also share. So um, I hope if you do join me, you can bring your stories, you could bring your experiences and your insights as well. So, what I've learned is sometimes our greatest pain becomes someone else's greatest encouragements. So, let's get into it. So, there's a lot of things that life taught me, but the one that I'm going to talk about today is one hard lesson life taught me is that, I have a lot of them, but I'm going to start with this one today. Um, One hard lesson that life taught me is that not everyone who smiles at you is rooting for you. And it took me a while to learn that, just because somebody smiles, you say, oh, that's my friend. It reminds me of my son. He's 10, and he'll meet somebody and they have fun. And he said, oh, that's my best friend. And I said, what's your best friend's name? He said, I don't know. So, anyway, that's a side note. So, when I was younger, I believed that if I treated people with kindness, honesty, and respect, that they would do the same for me. But life eventually taught me that some people will misunderstand you, they will misrepresent you, and they will also dislike you for reasons that you don't even know about, that has nothing to do with you. So it was a painful lesson for me in my younger years, because when I'm someone's friend, I'm truly your friend. And whatever, I don't know, whatever thoughts that comes through that, I'm a loyal friend. And I found that everybody is not loyal to you. So I had to learn that it helped me to learn that the importance of discernment, healthy boundaries, and finding my worth in God's opinion rather than the approval of anybody else. So, my question to you is, given your own experiences, if you're looking at this, is what are some of the hard lessons that you learned in life that no one could have convinced you of until you experienced yourself? I mean, I have lots of them. That the first one that I shared was just one. The other one that I found, I wrote this one down. One hard lesson life taught me is that you can't always save everyone that you love. Let me repeat that. You can't always save everyone that you love. As a mother, my instinct has always been to help, to protect, to fix things for the people that I love. But what life taught me, and it was a tough life lesson um, with with my younger daughter, um, that you can do everything that you can with the with whatever you're equipped for in raising your children. And I guarantee you, no one is an expert. If your if your child comes out perfect, great. But that's not always the case. You can bend over backwards to make sure they have all of the comforts of life. And then in the end, you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't have given them the comforts of life. So it was a tough lesson for me to learn that I can't save everybody. They have to come to a point in their life that they have to save themselves. And as a mother, I had to learn to step back and then lay her at the foot of the cross and to say, okay, Lord, you handle this for me, because I couldn't. I prayed, I supported, I encouraged, I stood ready to help. I lost sleep, but ultimately, your children have to walk their own path. That's what I learned. And learning that lesson was very heartbreaking for me, but it strengthened my faith, and it taught me to trust God with the people that I love most. And even to this day, I every day I pray, and I leave her at the foot of the cross, and I just ask God to put his hedge of protection around her wherever she is. And I believe she's coming back, because I don't think my prayers will go unanswered. It may not come in the time when I want it to happen, but I believe it's coming. But I had to learn how to stop losing sleep over it. So, um, another one hard lesson taught me is that experience is often the most expensive teacher. Um, Experience gives the test first, and then you learn the lesson afterwards. So trust me, some of those tuition payments was way higher than I wanted to pay. So, but looking back, those difficult moments gave me wisdom that I couldn't have gained any other way. So I know I'm sitting here talking to myself, and I don't plan to do any kind of long um, lives. I think this live is going to be about 15 minutes. Um, I'm looking at my notes because, like I said, I'm kind of new at this, but I'm going to muddle through. Um, And I'm going to leave some questions with you. What what are some life lessons that you learned the hard way? And I just want you to think about it, and you could share it in the comments, or you can uh, email me, either way. But I just wanted to get that question out today, and fulfill my homework because my coach told me that I have to go live. So that's what I'm doing. And I figure if I keep doing this, I'll get better at it. So this is a learning experience for me. So let me see what else I want to talk about. What I what I've I think my personal growth in this, I'm learning wisdom. Um, I'm having some growth, and I know I'm very resilient. And I've learned self discovery because at one point in my life, another lesson I had to learn that I had to learn how to love myself and learn how to be my best friend, because I used to depend on my friend, what to wear, which, does this look okay on me? Uh, what should I do? Like I didn't have a mind of my own. And I had to learn that sometimes what I did learn was she led me in wrong directions, because I remember one time in particular we went shopping and I saw this cute little dress, and I didn't want to buy it because I didn't want to buy it until I had her opinion. So I said, "Hey, what do you think of this dress on me?" And she said, I don't think that's not a cute dress. I don't think that dress is good for you." So I put the dress back, and she bought it for herself. My feelings was hurt, but I didn't say anything because she was my best friend. And another situation that I learned with her is I didn't want to make any kind of plans without consulting her. Whatever I did, even in my 20s, even when we got married, I didn't want to make any plans without her. So one day I um, got a call from her, and we were talking, and she was, well, another person had called to say, "Hey, the couples are going hither and thither. They were planning a trip." And I said, "No, they're not," because she would have told me, because she was my best friend. And I said, "She's not going anywhere." And this particular person that had called was not one of our favorite people. I say ours because, back then it was like if she didn't like her, I had some reservations too. I wouldn't say I not like her because I still was friendly to the person. So I called my best friend and I said, "Hey," she called me and said, "You guys were going somewhere with this other couple." And she said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that we were going." And I couldn't hear anything else. I was devastated because this is my best friend, and the person who's not my best friend called me to tell me that my best friend was going someplace else with her best friend and her husband. I was so hurt. So I learned, I didn't learn then. It took me maybe a couple of more years before I finally got the message. And she called, I found myself calling her all the time because we used to talk every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, till time for our kids to get up, go to school. And it turned out to be where I felt like I was doing all the calling, and on the other end was mostly silence or one word answers. And I felt like I was trying to hold this relationship together. And one day she told me, she said, I just want to be honest with you. She said, I don't think we should be friends anymore because I'm not jealous of you, but I'm envious of you. And I laughed because we had all these plans. You know, she was going to have a bridal studio, I was going to have the salon, I was going to sell real estate, and we were going to invest in real estate together. We were going to do all these things together. And I had my salon and I had my real estate license, and she was still struggling somewhat. And I had bought my first house when I was 23, and she still hadn't got to her and her husband still hadn't got to that point yet. She told me that she was envious, not jealous. And before her jealousy turned to envy, she felt that we should no longer be friends. And I laughed because I knew she had to be kidding, right? Gotta be kidding. And she said, well, jealousy, envy is when you still like the person, and jealousy is when you hate their guts. And I just couldn't wrap my head around that. And my younger sisters explained it to me. They had been trying to explain it to me for a while, and I just didn't get it because I felt like my life wrapped around hers and I had to make all the decisions. But what I learned is I had to learn how to follow my own instincts. I could tell you a lot of stories about what I learned from that relationship, but the good thing is that I learned, and I learned at an early age that everyone who smiles at you is not necessarily in your corner. So, that being said, I think I've gone over my 15 minutes that I had planned for myself. So, my question to you is what are some of the lessons you've learned? So, until next time, I'm going to try this again. And you watch, I'm going to get better and better at this. So, you make it a great day. Thanks for stopping by.